I would like to invite Eric Sito, our JobStreet.com General Manager, Regional, to come to the stage. Hello everybody.
Hi.
Talking about multinational companies looking to recruit in the region, and they tend to look for people with great English communication skill. What other things that you think that recruiters look for candidates in today's job market?
Okay, I think that's a very excellent and very relevant question, and I think this goes beyond working overseas or working in Vietnam. I think more and more you see that recruitment and HR is becoming a strategic function in a business. Okay, if you look at HR department in the past, it used to be one person doing everything, right? I'm not sure if anybody here is from HR. Is there anybody from HR here? Okay.
Yes, one.
Okay, so if you notice, HR has changed. Now there are more specialization in HR, okay? And recruitment tend to be a specialization, all right? And what happened here is that companies tend to treat recruitment in a very structured method. That's very unfortunate. And in my experience, I see some very experienced people not knowing what to say in their resume. So that's point number one. Point number two will be the basic stuff like interviews, for example. You need to know how to conduct yourself. You need to know how to sell yourself, okay? And if you're able to overcome these two, the final point will be branding. Hopefully you can brand yourself. If you think about it, you are a product and you are a brand. If you want a company to buy you or to employ you, who are you? What are your brand? Okay? So if you think about it, right, in the structure of your resume and in the structure of your interface with the customer, I mean with the employer, you should be able to bring out all these values and all these highlights about yourself.
And sometimes I see some candidates do have a summary of themselves, a few lines, and some do not. What's your advice on that?
Absolutely, I think the summary is very important. Earlier on, I was talking about self-branding, right? So if you were to brand yourself, that's the summary. Actually, if you think about it, if you describe yourself in 10 words, could you do it? Many of us cannot. Actually, you should be able to, even if you work for 20 years, 30 years, you should be able to, summarize yourself. Who are you? Why you? All right? So yes, you must have a summary. Now, coming back to the context of this talk, right? If you want to compete with people from other countries to work to work abroad, you must understand that you're competing with the best, and there are lots of people who are interested in good paid jobs and good companies and so on, and the exposure. So they have no time to read about you. So you have to have everything said about you in the summary. And then if they're interested, right, then they will read into the details. So that's very important.
Just one last question. What do you think are the differences in working environment in Vietnam or in Singapore or in Thailand? Because you work across all of these countries.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, I think that's a very relevant question. Now, I actually think that at the end of the day, people work for three things: title, salary, and career prospect. Okay, I know it's different for different age group, but these are the three key things. And we've done a survey on this, and we realized that in different countries, the priorities are different. Okay, in some countries, the title is important, more important than the salary. I don't understand why, but in some countries are like that. In some countries, it's about salary come first, and in some countries are career prospects. Okay, in Hong Kong, for example, it's about title. Title is extremely important. So sometimes maybe you don't have to pay the guy more, just give him a bigger title, and he'll be happy. So things like that. So that is an indication, right, of how people in that job market behaves. So if you think about it, if I'm interested in title, I'm interested in status, then the way I behave with my peers, with my colleagues, and so on, is going to be reflective of that. All right? If I'm interested in career progression, for example, the way I behave at work is also different. I want to learn, I want to get the right experience, I want to build my resume for the future. So in different countries, people do behave differently.
Thank you very much, Eric, for that very interesting insight. What does the Vietnamese salary range compare to other countries?
Am I gonna get in trouble again? Okay, I mean, safe to say, salary ranges is different from company to company. Experience to experience, right? Different. So I can't really say per se. If I were to pick up a sample of 1 or 2 companies and they happen to be MNCs and they happen to be at a stage of a startup, the salary strategy could be different, right? So it's hard to say. But if I were to generalize, right, it's safe to say some countries like Singapore, for example, has the highest salary around the region. And thanks to their strong currency, it's much higher, okay? And the standard of living there is actually also quite affordable. So yes, I mean, I'm not trying to promote Singapore. I'm not from Singapore. I have worked there. But yes, it is higher compared to other countries in the region. And if you go to Google surveys and all that, you will see some data there, okay? You'll be able to see specific titles, and then you'll be able to pick those things up. Now, perhaps maybe if I can share some information here. Now, in salaries, right, you have a distribution on you. Okay, that means if I'm a company and I want to offer a salary, say for example, finance manager, I can be offering what other people are offering. So statistically, that's the 50th percentile, right? Everybody offer this, I also offer. Now, it depends on how important this role is to me. In some cases, I want to be the 80th percentile. I want to be the 90th percentile because I want to offer better than other people. Now, as a company, right, being fully capitalist, why would you want to do that? Maybe you're at a stage in your company that you have just started, okay? Maybe you're at a stage where you need to have strong individuals pillared in this company, and these are going to be your future leaders, for example. All right? So maybe that's the circumstances that that surrounds the salary strategy. So if you know and understand this, right, then you realize that when you choose a company, just like how a company chooses you, right? If you choose a company, you might want to find out where the company is at the stage of incorporation, at the stage of development, you know, and what kind of ambition the company has, and so on and so forth, and then the salary will be arranged that way. So that's one piece of advice I'd like to give to you. Okay. Now another piece of advice I'd like to share with you is this. Salary used to be simple. It used to be a number. That's it. Nowadays, in Southeast Asia also, salaries are no longer a number. They're a number plus a number plus a number plus a number. What are those things? Those things are performance-based salaries. All right? And more they're like that. In the old context of employment, of employment, people are talking about lifelong employment. So I work for a salary, next year I get 5% increment, next year I get 5% increment, and I stay there forever till I die. Okay? Now, people don't think that way anymore, right? So when you enter a company, then people talk about this is the salary because I need to employ you. This is what is required in the industry. I want to be a certain percentile because that's my company. But thereafter, I like you to do more. I like you to perform better. I like to drive more innovation from you, or more productivity, more output from you. So salaries then has other elements in there that's tied to performance. And sometimes it ties to shares, for example, or ties to committed bonuses or non-committed bonuses, or tied to perks and things like that. Okay, it's a big subject. If you understand these things, then you will look at the salary numbers slightly differently, because a number is high doesn't mean that it's high, because there's a lot of things that's not given, for example. A number that's low doesn't mean that it's low either, because there's an upside to it. Okay? I'm not sure how common that is, but my understanding is it's not very common yet in this country, but it is very common soon. Yeah, because elsewhere everybody is practicing this kind of practice.
Very interesting, Mr. Jobs. And if I remember correctly, then JobStreet.com has a salary online, right? Comparatively across countries?
Yes, we do. I was tempted not to do self-praising or advertisements because that's not what the audience wants to hear, but yes, there is. Okay, if you like, you can go to the JobStreet website, do a search on the salary report. It's all there. If you're interested to know how much your boss is making, You can do a search and you probably have it there. Okay. Now, JobStreet salary report is gathered from the whole group. We don't do sampling. Okay. Now, a lot of salary reports are based on sampling because they do surveys, right? So typically they throw the companies, do a survey. There's like a million companies here, and you do a survey with 100 companies, then you get that, right? And then from there you get your percentiles and so on. JobStreet, because it's completely internet-based and online, is based on mass. So you get the true reflection of the whole market, big companies, small companies, all added together, and that's the average that you get. All right?
Thank you very much, Mr. Jobs. I think there's still a lot of questions coming in, but I think unfortunately we're running out of time. And so, well, thank you again very much for sharing very valuable information with us. And we hope to...
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for being here. Thank you.